Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. The only change I'm going to make is where I've used a garden green background on here, I'm going to use real red. So to start off with, I'm going to tell you the card pieces you're going to need. You'll need a card base of Whisper White, which measures 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8. In metric, that's 21 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres, scored and folded at 10.5. A layer of real red cardstock, which measures 4 inches by 5 5/8, which is 10.25 by 14.25 centimetres. A layer of the Fancy Frost Specialty DSP, Designer Series paper, which measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/2 inches, which is 10 centimetres by 14 centimetres. This Fancy Frost Specialty Designer Series paper is the one that's already dry embossed. This one's got like an all over snowflakey kind of design. You'll need a piece of our Dazzling Diamonds Glimmer paper, which measures 2 1/2 inches by 5 3/8 inches, which is 6.5 centimetres by 13.75. And then you'll need a scrap of Whisper White for the 4 wreaths and bows, which means you'll need something that's about 4 times this size. I've already done 3 of them. So what I'm going to do first will be these, and then we can do the die cutting, and then we can do the die cutting of the letters as well. As I say, I've already done 3 of these. So the stamp set that I've used is Santa's Sleigh, and I'm using that for the actual wreath, and that's the bow. And this does come with its coordinating dies, and that is called Santa's Sleigh Framelits dies. And the ones we're going to be using out of that will be that to cut the wreath, that to do the inside, and that one to do the bow. So what I'm going to start with are the 2 stamps. The wreath I'm doing in garden green. I should have inked my pad before I did the video, but never mind, I'll manage. Right, so I'm just going to stamp that. And then I'll do the bow in real red. This one's a lot more healthy. Now if you do it on the same sheet as I am, make sure you leave enough of a gap so that when you put your dies on, they're not going to be touching each other, because you can put the 2 dies through at the same time, obviously. Now as you'll see, both of these are hollow stamps, but I've coloured mine in. So I've taken my garden green marker pen, and did I use the brush or the pen? I think, yes, I'm sure I used the pen, the brush end, and all I did was one little stripe on either side. It doesn't give absolutely perfect colouring, but I think that helps to make it look a little bit more natural. If you're particular about things like this, then I would take a bit more trouble over it. or you may decide that you prefer to leave it just as an outline. Okay, it doesn't really take very long to do this. And it's very handy that we've got the dies to do this. There we go. That's fine. And then I do exactly the same with the real red marker pen. And I don't go over this to colour it in fully, because I found that if I just do like lines, then when it dries you can still see some lines on there, which gives it a little bit of dimension, if you like. Not 3D dimension, but colour dimension. Right, I'm going to do my holly berries before I do the die cutting, and this is where I do use the pen end, and there's absolutely no rhyme or reason to what I do here. I tend to do one on its own, and then the next one I try and do a group of 3, and then I'll do another one on its own, possibly another one, and then the next one it will be a group of 3 again. The only thing I do try is not to go into the centre or round the edge, because those bits are going to be cut off. Anything that you think looks good is right. Now the only thing I do make sure is all of these are joined up. I won't leave that spare bit there. I don't know if you can see that. Where I've gone on to do this red one, I've got a gap there, which I don't like, so I will put berry in there. I'll bring this up close once I've done all of it, so that you can see how totally random it is. How sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 3. A lot of the time there's just 1. There we go. Okay. Totally random. No right, no wrong. So next I'm going to bring my Big Shot over. And because I'm using 2 small dies here, and I've got my magnetic plate underneath, these smaller dies may jump around a bit. Well, so far so good. And what I find is, where this is like a scalloped edge, they fit around the leaves. So that's quite easy to do. And then I pop that one in there, and I just use my paper piercer to move it around a bit. And then you would find that this is also slightly scalloped, and that will fit around the leaves as well. Okay, so that's good. Now this one may jump. Always the way, isn't it? When I'm doing this on my own, I have real fun and games because they decide to jump. If you do find that they start jumping, what I suggest you do is, once it's in place, put a post-it note on it. Even though you're on magnet, when you put your lid on it, your second cutting sheet on it, you may find that it jumps. No, really behaving itself. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm holding it down tight just to make sure it does go through okay. Okay, so that's come out all right. That piece has got left behind, but that comes out quite easily. And that one. And then the bow. Okay, so they're both all right. 3 dies. Now, for the next part, the reason I've said to use this is because you're going to finish up with a piece that I'm going to do another video using that. Normally what I would say is using this Glimmer paper, it's best to use our new all-purpose matte, but because I need to get these letters in exactly the correct place, I'm using my magnetic platform, and I'm going to face this towards me. Just in case that's not making any sense at all, I'm using my large letters and I'm spelling out NOEL. Right. For the project I'm doing now, I want the actual letters, and with the N, if you think to yourself, I wonder which is up, which is the right way up, like I did, I had to go back and look at the picture on the box. But the one here where it's got the straight line going over it, that's the top. Where there's no straight line on this side, you see you've got a little bar across there and a bar across there, so that doesn't help. But that one goes out and that one's just a small, so this is at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to put that one fairly close to the edge, and I'm making sure that I got the same gap top and bottom. You may decide that you don't want to do this part and then go on and do the next project, in which case you just die cut your letters. Right, so now I'm making sure the L is as close to this edge as the N is to that edge. Right, I'll use my paper piercer as well to get these straightened up. So what else I'm doing is I'm making sure these are straight. I'm trying also to make sure that I've got the same sort of gap between each letter here. And for me that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I can turn that round this way, put my other cutting mat on top. Oops, the N moved. Let's try again. Right, because I'm using my magnetic plate and not my new platform, I'm going to run this through twice. I'm sure it will cut through. The reason the Glimmer paper is more difficult is because it's got a sheet of plastic on the back. I think that's okay. Yes, that one's fine. Now, have you cut out as well? Oh, good. Yes, it's all work. Just need a little bit of encouragement here. That's it. Whoops. So this is a piece that I'm going to use for another project with this piece here as well. Okay, so if you want to follow along with me for the next one, that's what you need. But for this one, we're using our letters. Okay. Right, let's move the big shot out of the way. Now first of all, I'm going to adhere the bow onto my wreath. Now if you've got any bits of the wreath that you're not very happy with, or you think it's a little bit sparse, not enough berries, you can put your bow on top of it to cover it up. I'm going to use Tombow, and I'm just putting a tiny little dot up there, and then I'll use my tweezers, pop the bow on it, and I pop my bow high enough so that it covers any of the wreath up the top here. I find that it leaves enough down the bottom there. Okay, right, so there's that, and my other three, and my letters. So I'm going to put my card together. First of all, I do my real red. Now at this stage you can use fast fuse, snail, tear and tape. Come on, Tom Tom, I think you need a bit of unblocking done, don't you? Right, let me get my piece of kitchen towel. Oh, that's better. That piece looks dry as well, doesn't it? That's it. And then the Fancy Frost Specialty Designer Series paper. There are 6 designs, 12 sheets, and 4 of the designs can be used for general cards. They don't have to be Christmas cards. So I bought myself 3 packets. There we go. Now first of all I'm going to put the letters on. And there are 3 ways you could do this, and the choice is totally up to you. You can either do them, not either, there's 3 ways. You can do them straight, like that. You can do them staggered straight, like that. Or you can do them at angles. I'm not sure that you could do angles if you've got them all the same height, because I think they'd be crashing into each other. In fact, to say that, let's try it. Well, no, you could do it. Okay, it would work. But I'm going to do it the same as I've done this card, because I know this one works. So I'm going to use, let's have my silicone mat here, and I'm going to be putting mine on with Tombow. You can use your favourite glue. Do bear in mind though, you are adhering something to an embossed paper, and you are putting glue on a piece of plastic. Right, and don't forget you have to get your N up the right way. Okay, so I've got my pokey out bit there, right, and just the rounded bit here. Now I'm leaving a gap of about 1/2 inch at the top here. I'm going to put the L on next so that I get them all spaced out nicely. Now I'm going to leave the gap from here to here, the same as what I've got here, and equally the gap from the edge about the same. So that's about 1/2 inch. Not quite sure what that is. We'll say about 1/8. Oops, come back. There we go. I think that looks straight. So now I can position the E level with my N and the O level with the L. Okay, so I'll leave the E there, get the O done. Make sure it's straight. As you can see, it does slide quite easily, but that's because it's got the plastic underneath it. I don't know whether snail and fast fuse work on this because I've never tried it. As you know, my favourite is this Tombow. Right, now we do the E. Level with that one and space it in the centre here. Okay, so that's that. Now we need to adhere these on here. Well, as I know that it all works out nicely there, I'm not going to try them in different positions. I don't really think that would be very clever on a video. Right, now I move on to dimensionals. And the other thing that I do on this one is I use glue dots in case any part of the dimensional goes on to the Glimmer. Whoops, that's still quite wet. See, that does take a bit of time to dry. Okay, because if the dimensional goes onto here, I like to know that it's got a glue dot to make sure it stays nice and firm. Right, so what did I do with this? How much did I allow? I think I took one of these little triangle bits for where the bow is. And then I took a thin slice, oops, for the opposite end. There we go. So what I'm doing now is, oh, I've got it out here, didn't I, this one? So I'm just going to take a glue dot and I'm going to fold it in half on that one. And then on that one, I'm just leaving it whole. And then I'm taking the wreath with my tweezers and adhering it down. And then I'm going to do the same with these others. I've got to go over to the other side now because I've used all the triangles over that side. So I'm going to need another 3. I've got a few to show you once I've finished making this card. I'll explain to you how it all came to be. Right, now I just want some straight pieces, but I don't want them too big. I wonder if that'll be too fat. Yes. Okay, let's cut it off a bit. Right, that's that one. Let's retrieve this bit that went flying. Oops, jumping. And did I have another piece here? Yes, I did. Right, there we go. I did a class last weekend, and the lady, no, it's Tuesday today, the previous weekend, and a lady referred to this backing as taking the skin off, which I thought was quite a good word to use. So here I am taking the skin off of these dimensionals. Now I'm going to put my glue dots on, and the first one I'm folding in half. Next one can go on straight. And fold it in half. Straight. Straight. And folding in half. Right, and there's that one. That one. And that one. So there we go. Nice, easy card to make. Right, I've got these here that I want to show you before I go. First of all, there's this one. Okay, so this is one where I have put the Noel at an angle. The little teddy bear comes from Santa's sleigh, and that's this one here. And another one that I did, which I really do like, is this one here. This is, I've done gold embossing on this one. And again, something different. I've put these all in a line. The angel comes from Joyful Nativity. It's that one. But that does have to be fussy cut. but it is quite easy. I didn't worry about trying to cut out the bit in between the trumpet and her arm. That's still there. And then this is the one that kicked it off. I took the bell from Christmas Magic, again another one that had to be fussy cut. Okay, so that's what I started off with, showed it on my blog. But the thing that I particularly wanted to show you, which I'm going to give you a quick demo now, is the gold Wink of Stella pen. I have used my clear one lots and lots and lots, but I've never used my gold because I've never found anything that I wanted to do with it. But it colours this in absolutely brilliantly, and you get so much of a shine to it. Okay, that's all you need to do. I stamped it first with our basic black archival ink, so there's no bleeding. Even if you don't want to use this bell for this style card, at least you can see how beautiful it does come up with the Wink of Stella. And then I went over the bow with red. Once I'd done the red, I went over it with the clear Wink of Stella. But I will warn you that the red does run, so once you've finished with your Wink of Stella, you really do need to clean it. That's the same way as you do your blender pens. You just keep wiping it onto a scrap of paper until it runs clear. Okay, and that little bit there, I always treat that as if that's a little bit of the bell as well. So once that's done, I just take this oops, going to have the line a bit there. Don't think anybody will notice that, apart from me. Okay, so let's see if I can show you how much this shines. I think you can see that, can't you? Don't know about the red though. Let me show you the card again. Let's see if you can see it shining on that. But I was really pleased with... Yeah, I think you can get that. I was really pleased with the gold Wink of Stella on this, really loved it. And the final one that I did, which I'm not happy with at all, was this one here, where I used the Father Christmas hats. I heat embossed them with red. I did that by stamping the stamp from Snow Place. That one does have a die as well in Snow Friends Framelits. Whoops. I inked it up in Versamark first, then stamped it in real red ink, then stamped it on my Whisper White, and then dunked it in clear embossing powder, then heated it. And then for this bit in here, I just put some glue and then dipped it, and the bobble, dipped it into Dazzling diamonds, glitter, and that was it. But I'm not quite so happy with that. But you know me, I'm quite happy showing you things that I like and things that I'm not quite so keen on, because we all have different tastes. And let me bring one of these here as well. So there you go, that's today's project. Many thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions, please leave a comment in the box below, or send me an email to janb@janbcards.com. I'm always very happy to help you. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here, you can either go to my blog, which is www.janbcards.com, and you'll find a shop now button, or you can go to the link below and click on the shop button there. I'll be putting all the measurements and the products that I've used on the screen, but just in case you're watching on a device that you can't see all the details, you'll see them in the box below. Just click on the button that says show more and it'll open the box up for you, and it will all be there. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.